Beardy and the Beast, The Second Wall.
Ba-da-ba, ba-da-ba. This is a placeholder intro song.
Hey there. Welcome to the Beardy and the Beast, The Second Wall, a water cooler conversation regarding a series we're watching in segments. There'll be mild spoilers. We're available here and on other services, with a full list available at beardyandthebeast.com. I'm Drew, and with me, of course, is fellow talent judge Devin.
Eight.
This is the third part of the show Carole Tuesday series regarding episodes 7 through 9. Pow pow! So, Devin, what on earth is going on here?
Well, clearly, we've entered the tournament arc.
Ah, yes, the fabled tournament arc. I didn't actually expect something like this.
I know.
It was kind of out of nowhere, but made a whole lot of sense in context to what they're trying to do with parallels to, you know, current situation, musical acts, etc.
Yeah.
Uh, there was definitely a tonal change, I thought, in episodes 7 through 9. Something darker and foreboding.
Okay.
I don't know, just can't point to anything what it might have been. It might have been civil, but overall, I can't put my finger on it. It just felt like a little bit of dread in the background there.
All right. Well, I'll say this. Hold on to that.
Oh no.
Um, yeah. So. Oh.
This isn't even Gus's final form.
Yeah. So I guess let's start. We'll talk with episode 7 here first. So, did you notice anything interesting about episode 7 and how it was presented?
Not especially. Um, it seemed kind of like the same old Carole Tuesday. The only thing that I noticed was a solidifying of something that they were kind of putting in the back of my head, and that was the family aspect of the group of four: Tuesday, Carole, Gus, and Roddy.
Yeah.
I almost saw um, them moving more like a family unit, where Gus is kind of like the incompetent father, Roddy is kind of like a maternal role, and Carole being an older sister, and Tuesday being the youngest sister.
Yeah.
Um, but the way it was presented, I did finally notice that the songs that were being performed were definitely related into the current small like arc within the series,
Yeah.
which is embarrassingly something I would have normally picked up if I was just watching the show regularly.
Yeah. Specifically around the songs.
Hmm. I would say like Carole Tuesday's song, or did no, they performed that in episode 8.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm unsure about anything in 7. I was
That's
definitely
actually that's actually what I was getting to. This is the first episode without any song really tied to them. They
hmm.
did not sing in this one.
But I think the song in episode 8 definitely carried from 7.
Oh, for sure.
Like the character in it, the songs between Carole and Tuesday definitely seem to be encompassing the relationship between Carole and Tuesday, and what they're going
Yeah.
through is um two individuals and together as like a single unit.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, it's just a small thing that I noticed. It's like, huh, they actually don't perform. They just hint at it. But the only songs that we get in this entire episode were the um was what was his name? Like the William Hung type songs that you saw from American Idol way back when.
Mm, mm.
That's literally the only songs we get in this one.
And I mean, they were kind of fun. They
Oh yeah.
the songs and the presentations that they did. were just so entertaining to me. Like all these kind of like throwaway characters.
Yeah,
Um, like the metal twins.
yeah.
They were
Well,
super
those we
fun.
see those we see in the next episode.
Oh, was that eight as well?
Yep,
Hmm.
that's 8. This one here, we had Idea singing, we had that Martian singing in the native Martian song.
That one
We
had
had
me howling. The Martian.
yeah, yeah.
That was funny.
Uh, I liked the grandma saying, "Hey, this is a song that
Oh my!
my mom used to sing."
And it was just a straight up like dubstep drop.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I really enjoyed that. We got a new colorful cast of characters kinda coming from this, and we had, uh, Carole and Tuesday first actually see Angela,
Mm. Yeah, and
even though they didn't really interact in this one.
it was something I was waiting for, like to see how the two unique and independent storylines would collide and intersect.
Yeah,
Is what I was waiting for.
yeah,
While I was watching it, and they kind of introduced the this is going to be like special judge, American Idol talent show sort of thing. I was
yeah.
like, Ertegun is going to be a judge drama, and that didn't happen. But I think that'll happen because I think the AI dog is a was a special guest.
Yeah. Yeah, his dog's a special guest,
So
so
there's yeah 3 episodes without Ertegun. I am not pleased.
I still find that so funny because, again, the first time you talked about Erdogan, you just didn't know you're just like, "I don't get it. I don't know where he's going, anything about it." And it seems like it's quickly become your dark horse.
Oh yeah,
Right?
he's gonna win.
Yep.
The true protagonist of Carole Tuesday was actually Ertegun the whole time.
Yeah.
Never gonna happen because he doesn't have the pow pow.
Yeah, he's, um, Pu Pyotr?
Piotr.
Yeah. I honestly think it's just supposed to be Peter, but with a weird spelling, but he's, uh he's really, interesting. Um,
I
I
like,
kinda like his character. He's to me, he's very much the exactly what you expect an influencer to be.
except saying really well.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, I guess to get to that level, like you either have to be full on uh full on completely terrible or uh full on pretty decent.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. So I guess let's do a quick dip into episode 8. So here we had, the tournament arc began in earnest. I guess one thing in 7, I love the, handshake between Carol and Tuesday.
And like laundry guy just shows up. Pretty
Yeah.
sure that was laundry guy.
I'm
And he's
pretty
just
sure it
like,
was.
"What are you doing? No, it's like this." Choo 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 choo
Yeah.
choo.
It's just one of those, again, those kind of heartwarming scenes. It's just like, yeah, no, they just enjoy this and them, uh, practicing their, speech when they win.
Yeah, the entire
It
process, like everything about what they're doing, like that you can tell like we do this a bit for the podcast, so like we talk like positively and have fun talking about the thing that we're doing
yeah,
when we're not actually doing it. And that's I think that's a good sign. Like that definitely reflects back into what I personally experience.
yeah,
I definitely connected with them on that level.
yeah. Oh, for sure. I feel that a lot as well. So, yeah, I guess episode 8 is that the tournament arc starts in earnest here.
Introduction of
Um,
Sybil,
yep,
or she I think she was shown in 7 but didn't really do anything until 8, right?
yeah.
Unexpected character type.
Mhm.
No idea what was going on there. And that throws any predictions that I might have had that would happen in episodes 10 to 12 are just completely out the window given Sybil having been a character type.
Yeah,
Like stalker fan trying to replace Carol.
yeah.
I
Yeah, she is, she's something. Um, yeah, I know near the end we'll go through and go with what your overall predictions for the next few episodes is going to be. Um, but lots of performances in this one. We had OG Bulldog's performance.
Unexpected, loved it.
Yep. The-
Thought he was gonna bust out some gangster rap, and he totally went into like an operatic thing.
yeah, straight up
And
opera.
and then like the whole introduction of the grandma just randomly, like it
Um,
was a whole like what the heck
yeah,
series of moments, which I really enjoyed.
yep. Let's see, we had Kyoto's performance. I know you touched on him already, like with the being able to sing. Um,
Yeah, you could sing. More importantly, he had like the dance thing going on. Like you could easily someone see someone in one of the like a Korean pop group, one of those boys busting out moves like that and singing. So
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if they like drew an influence from that.
mm, yeah, and of course the metal twins.
Metal Twins, best twins.
Yeah,
I I absolutely love that part. Like I was gonna send it to my metal singer buddy, but I was just like, maybe another time.
yeah,
Just absorbing the Metal Twins, young at heart.
yeah. um, yeah, that's really kind of what happened there. Those performances were amazing. Um,
Oh, I thought the Mermaid Sisters was a completely different show. I thought it was from something like the Boondocks or something like that. And
mm,
to have that come up and actually like I'd seen it a bunch of times while browsing videos and seeing memes on the internet. So
yeah,
having that bust out in Carole Tuesday was so out of nowhere for me.
yeah. They were episode 9. Um, them. We had GGK. She is quite interesting.
Which one was GGK?
GGK was the one who was 13.8 billion years
Oh
old.
yes, yes.
Yep.
I only remember her from her performance
Yeah.
and like the cool outfit she had that had like the stars in it.
Yeah.
Like I was more absorbed in that. Like the persona that she was doing didn't really
Yeah, the
wasn't
persona
something.
in and of itself is whatever, but I really liked kind of that trancey sound
Yeah, and
in
her
it, and I
performance matched the sound for sure.
yeah, very much so. Sybil's performance,
Uh,
that was the French Le Ballade.
it was well, the performance was good, but the her they did really well with these performances, separating them out to what was excellent versus what was just pretty good.
Yeah.
So GGK and Sybil's um, was within a very small range,
Mhm.
so it didn't fluctuate that much. However, in say Angela's performance, it kind of started out like that, but then like partway through, she's really belting, really using her pipes.
Yeah.
Whereas there's not much ups and downs going on with the vocal techniques being used by GGK and Angela.
Yeah. So let's talk about Angela's performance here for a second then, because this is in a way a reprise of the song. It's not the first time we've heard it, right? It's actually the same song that she sang when they were going to the investors. What's your thoughts on her performance now?
Well, before, if I remember correctly, I said that it was heartless and even soulless.
Yeah,
Um, like she was singing it well, but you couldn't hear any emotion behind it.
yeah,
And this time, I definitely felt a little bit more emotion behind it. It could have just been tricked by the animation, but I definitely didn't have that same kind of feeling. You could definitely see there was some of her behind that song rather than uh,
yeah,
what you did at the investor meeting.
yeah, for sure. Um, that's something to hold on to. All right. So, um, gonna touch base a little bit into the themes overall, because again, like I said, I know there's some themes that I'm seeing that you've been dancing around. So I'm wondering if these sets of episodes might have brought anything to Frontier.
Hmm. Not nothing that is really ultra present in my mind. I mean, I could think of things like the society that's listening to music and art that's developed via AI versus the human touch. I could consider that, but I think that would be something more in like a Tau arc within episodes 10 to 12. Um, the I mean, it seems to be a bit like a transposition of certain aspects of nowadays on like a future Mars kind of situation.
Yeah,
I mean, the time frames don't really match up in my head because it's like 50 years or something. I can't remember, but it just
yeah.
didn't make sense. Terraforming Mars in that amount of time. I could be completely wrong. I don't know what's canon anymore. Uh,
Um,
I think mostly just togetherness, the like the family unit versus the world. I mean, I know none of them are related by blood, but definitely by emotion. They're all kind of filling in into some type of like paternal, maternal, and um, child roles within that
kind of
group.
that family you choose as opposed to the
Yeah,
family you're born with. Yeah.
exactly. And I that finally came to a front in seven. I was sitting there whining to myself that Erdogan wasn't in the episode, and then I was like, wait a minute, that's it kind of happened when Gus came in and he was like, I lost the money dog racing, which I'm still suspicious about, but um, they're writing Gus in a weird way that doesn't make sense linearly.
Mm,
If you just like perceive his character from start to finish, you're like, I don't understand how they ended up here.
yeah.
But he definitely seems like kind of like an incompetent paternal figure who means well but doesn't quite do well. And then you have the caring, more of a maternal figure that's Roddy.
Yeah.
Um,
I think I kind of get that with Gus as well. I think like a lot of those questions with Gus, it fits just that pattern very well.
mm,
He clearly is trying his best, but not necessarily making the best decisions with that. Not quite
yeah,
Homer Simpson level incompetence, but just that
yeah,
was that really the right decision?
yeah. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I did. I mean, I'm perpetually looking for some form of conflict in this show. Um, be that some form of antagonist or a incident that they're going to have to grow through. And the only thing that I've come up so far with is the only real conflict is really just them using their togetherness to get over their past and move forward.
Right.
So that's Carol opening up, that's Tuesday and family issues, current, uh, and I assume Gus's various addictions. I'm
Mm,
unsure about Roddy, but I think he's probably a loner character that doesn't get out and doesn't have many friends. They
yeah.
haven't really developed him as a character aside at all.
Yeah, not as much really. He's been kind of the well, I mean, you kind of said that to begin with. You figured he'd be more of the stand-in type
He is
character.
stand-in type for um
Male audience is what you originally said, I think.
yeah, for someone to project themselves on as a neutral mask so that they
Yeah,
could see themselves in the environment, but not so much that they would take away from the character elements of Carole and Tuesday themselves.
yeah.
Which I
And that
mean,
could be
yeah,
why we're not seeing as much development from him, right?
yeah.
Like they kind of keep that up. So we got a little bit of hints at Carol's backstory, Tuesday's backstory, Angela's backstory, all in these last few episodes.
Hmm.
Uh,
Well, that's where it
so
started getting dark. I was like, oh, so Angela was physically abused by her mother. Yeah, they already kind of hinted at Carol being a refugee.
yeah,
Didn't know what from. And they said Earth, but that's a universal constant. So I'm not super familiar with that universe. Cowboy
Cowboy
Bebop or
Bebop.
Space Dandy, I think it
Cowboy
is.
Bebop. It's Cowboy Bebop for sure.
Yeah,
Uh,
there was
no,
a
I
second series, but
was there.
yeah.
I haven't even seen Cowboy Bebop yet. I know it's terrible of me. Yeah, there could be a bit more with that. Um, the thing that I found with Angela's backstory um, on this watching, of course, as I'm looking a bit more into themes, um, there seems to be a bit of her just trying to find herself as well. And I
Hmm.
think we kind of touched on that before, because you'd said like, what was it? You said like her confidence being a ruse is
Yeah,
what you
yeah,
said
yeah.
in the last episode, right? So I think, and they're looking for affirmation. So um, just rewatching these last episodes, I solidified that more into looking for identity.
Yeah, and it makes a lot of sense when you state it that way because she started. It had that whole scene where she gets out of the cab and her mom's like, "You can come home," and she's like, "I'm not going to," or
Yeah,
whatever the quote was, and that's where you really see like she's definitely going to be growing into her, and she's getting over that barrier that was her mother.
yeah,
Uh, who I think that false confidence and that searching for identity, the false confidence in seeking approval is probably related to the issues she has with her mother and approval from her mother. Seeking identity is her getting past that barrier and actually finding who she is when she separated herself from that negative environment.
yeah,
If I were to get far too deep about it.
yeah. And not to get too deep into other things, I know in the first episode of this, I asked which character you thought I identify with,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm guessing some of that became a little clearer around there too.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know you too well, so like,
Yeah,
and the way that they animated it so well, I just looked at the characters and like the little bit of introductions. Yeah, I know.
yeah, yeah.
So do you see for me why I would kind of project upon Carol then?
Oh, uh, she's again. It's that you've got that kind of street smarts, that kind of playful, that bit of playful attitude when it
Yeah.
comes to around things, right? But even with all that seriousness, or with that lack of seriousness around that free spirit stuff, deep down you actually you know how to be serious and
Mm.
go through it. And I think Carol shows that. I think you see that when she real like when Tuesday was having her kind of identity crisis there, right? Like just Carol being able to cut straight to it and go,
Yeah.
"What is it?" Right? That reminds me very much of you because you've done that for me many times in the
True
past,
number
right?
one.
So
Yeah, it the way that they develop these characters, they the writing is so good except for Gus. They they're more than just stock character archetypes.
mm,
And we'll probably talk about this more when we do our season 1 and wrap up next time.
yeah,
But the the conflicts and the inner like hypocrisies of a human being, the things that don't mesh, um, the defensive barriers that are there that people have, things that develop naturally over time as they go through conflict and ideas that and perceptions that don't actually make sense
yeah,
that people have, but it's based on like where they've come and how they apply themselves to the environment that they're in. Like they actually thought of these things for these characters. So they didn't
mm,
just go, okay, here are, 4 character archetypes and we'll make a show with them.
yeah,
So, yeah, I think that might be why it was either easy or yeah, easy to uh project onto like Carol or Angela
Mhm.
because they have real qualities to them.
Yeah, and you see it right from the first time you see them, even if you don't have it fully fleshed out what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I feel that they've done that very well. Um, I would like to point out that you've touched on one of the themes finally that I've been trying to get you to see for a while now.
Okay.
Um,
Which one is that?
so the AI versus human touch.
Okay.
It's actually there right from the beginning. They're constantly talking about that, right? We see it with the judges, like where they were talking about how um, they could feel that it was just about the music for them, right? They
Hmm.
didn't put on something super showy, right? They just came in with that music. When Tao talks to them, right? He's like, what? Just yourselves, right? Um, and I think that that was there throughout, and I think just kind of talking about the conflict. That's where, because it's a bit safer to say this. We can see now Angela and Carole Tuesday's relationships to each other.
Hmm.
We're going to be like, um, I'm sure you're noticing this, so I don't feel bad about saying it now. They're clearly going to be rivals,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I mean, like Gus even says, that's her acknowledging you as her rival.
Yeah, exactly, right. So right from the get go, we see Carole and Tuesday wrapping up their stuff in their way. You see Angela wrapping up, but it's with the AI versus them staying up all night writing
Mm-hmm.
something. There's a little bit of an extension to that I think will come up. And I'll say this: it was brought about to the forefront with OG Bulldog. I'll let you think on that for a second,
Okay.
and if you can see where that's going,
Yeah,
because you
upon
did kind of touch on it already.
oh, like getting past perceived like preconceptions about people and music and things. One thing, yeah, I'm not sure, but I'm wondering if the whole AI versus like humanity or soul thing I just completely missed because I spend so much time like listening to music and seeing the differences between singer-songwriters and like pop artists,
Yeah,
like the machine versus what would be considered human touch.
yeah,
But I'll probably have to get back to you with my main man, OG Bulldog,
yeah,
Grandma's boy.
um, yeah, and think when you do go back and think about that, think about the judges and what the judges are saying about these people as well, because I think the theme is there. I think we've touched on it in a few of our discussions about this without clearly saying it, and I guess it's almost an extension of the AI versus human touch,
Mm.
as I see it. Um, so we'll go there. So, um, I'm not going to include Ertegun in my characters list this time, just
Oh,
because again, you, and again, it's more because we haven't seen anything with them, so there's nothing for you to really build on there.
so we're gonna talk about Skip instead. This is Beardy and the Beast, the Skip. Talk about Skip only now.
so, um, so in place of Ertegun, um, I'm going to throw in Sybil.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess let's start with her because that's such a new, because she's a new character. So, I know you mentioned you thought, the stalker fan type thing. Um,
I
what do you think is going to
think
be happening?
I think she is going to steal or break Tuesday's guitar.
Okay,
Um, because she's obsessed. She was um, pushed away or rejected.
right,
So generally, in those type of situations, someone like that will strike back in some way that'll hurt them. There's only two ways that they could do, and that would be something dark like abducting Carol or something along those lines, or alternatively something more symbolic, which I think would be more Sybil style, which means likely the guitar.
okay,
I don't know how she would know about the guitar because they haven't had any interviews and she hasn't said anything about it to her directly. But I could see that being a thing. Maybe
okay.
stolen.
Okay.
Uh, Also, they nailed the character.
Yeah.
Just creepy AF. Like, I actually have Sybil WTH question mark in my notes here.
I think I wrote the same thing because I think I assumed that would be your thoughts.
Gee.
Uh, yeah. All right. Carol and Tuesday.
Carole Tuesday, friendship growing stronger. They're opening up to each other. The biggest thing there was Carole revealing herself to Tuesday.
Yeah.
I think in that interview, it was half about having like a story to tell the interview in seven when they were doing the tryouts, and half that she felt comfortable saying it because Tuesday was next to her.
Mhm.
She's definitely the type not to reveal unless like she can trust the person.
Yeah.
I liked Tuesday finally kind of acknowledging people around her.
Mhm.
To start, she was a little bit more self orientated. I wouldn't go as far as saying self absorbed,
Yeah.
because she was definitely empathetic to the people around her, but definitely more self focused, which is the shell she broke in
Yeah.
seven.
Indeed. And uh, Carol definitely helped with that. Just it's like, no, I can tell. Like when you're singing, you are you,
Yeah.
right? And that's a type of um, relationship. You know, I really appreciate.
Mm.
I know, in our deep dark pasts, I think that was something that
Back in the dark
we kind of
ages.
do that. Yeah, back in the dark ages. Um, that's something that was definitely there. I think between us as well. So
Mm.
it's nice to see that. Um,
They definitely framed close friends in a good way.
yes.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Um, as you said, it's like still it still feels that very wholesome,
Yes.
right? That wholesome relationship. Um, let's see here. So Angela.
Angela, finally getting to see some stuff about her. They did well for her to project based on outward appearances and like the facade she was putting on, but finally seeing some backstory.
Mhm.
Like you could already tell that her relationship with her mother was kind of toxic in some way,
Right.
but for her to actually have some established backstory, which was again 20 seconds maybe, that they kind of went into it, but it had such an impact. And I mentioned this last time. They do so good at taking those little moments in this show and really bringing them to focus.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Just said, yeah, 20 seconds. Right. It was 20 seconds of that, and it was just like a brief conversation. Like it was just a, why don't you come home? And all of a sudden it's like, oh,
Yeah.
like just that line was enough to make you go, okay. And then just the little intersperse of visuals with it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if I remember correctly, I think even like when she was talking about her room, I think it went a little bit red.
Yeah, they're like a red
Yeah.
stain on the wall.
Yeah. Just really well done. Seeing anything about where she's going here? I know at this point you're still thinking. I think you were thinking either she's going to
Uh,
be oh, go
Part of
ahead.
the part of the cohort, or just become a better person from having been
Yeah,
near or related. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm still holding on to that. I now think it's more likely to be a season two thing and not a season one thing, but to fully think about it in a trope way, like yesterday's villain is today's ally, I
yeah,
think. And she's not even really that much of a villain. She said some mean things, but like, I mean, how's that going to affect two girls who uh, played music for 100,000 people who didn't want to hear them?
yeah. Well, again, it's that. Oh, I lost what I was going to
No, that's
say.
fun.
It's like, um, all right. Tao.
Ciao.
Yes, I am interested to see what you are thinking of Tao now.
He actually had the exact response that I would expect from him.
Yeah,
The fact that he was so confused that what I assume was such, like, in his eyes, such a great song was not created by an AI, and that it was written by them with their own hearts. Like, he just didn't seem to get it and was confused by it,
Yeah,
or he might have been motivated, but you can't really tell because he's kind of
right.
stone faced. But yeah, same place as before. Uh, I think less that he'll end up being like a primary antagonist.
Right.
I think he'll just be confused. But he did have that kind of, he did have a human moment. He didn't understand what was going on. They definitely built him up to be a very intelligent person.
Yeah.
Like, even talking to that finance guy, the finance guy was like, "You need to come work with us. You'd be great."
Yeah. Does that his interactions around that recontextualize what you've seen in the past with him in any way?
Uh, no, pretty much the same type of character as I said before. I may not have explained my thoughts about him as accurately as I would have, but I don't see him any differently. I still kind
He's
of see
still
him.
kind of the cold AI type.
Yeah,
Right.
he was just like emotionally stunted, which is entirely possible. This is when he has a 20-second backstory where we find out he was abandoned and raised by wild AIs in the woods or something.
Yeah.
And then you'd be like,
Um,
"Oh, he was." You can identify with him, and that's sad.
um, all right. So yeah, that's kind of what I had with the characters. Um, so overall, where do you think the tournament arc is going to lead us?
Um, hmm. I think Angela's gonna win.
Okay.
I think that is going to motivate Carole and Tuesday. Carole
Okay.
Tuesday will either come out third or second,
Okay.
but again, that's just going to motivate them. Uh, if they're crushed about it, it'll only be for a small amount of time, and then they'll have renewed motivation and come out stronger, or uh, stronger through the defeats we experience, kind of situation.
Right.
Either way, I see the tournament arc still more about Carole and Tuesday bonding to each other, and less about them becoming like the next big thing.
Right.
Like, they definitely want to do something with their music and they definitely want to be big, but the only person who's concerned about the time frame of it is Gus.
Mm. Yeah. Oh, I agree with that.
So like, if it takes them a long time, it just takes them a long time as long as they continue with that bond. uh, I am super interested in 10 through 12 because it definitely is like that foreboding feeling.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like something is going to happen,
Yeah.
but I can't put my finger on it. I'm wondering if it's with Sybil. I'll probably feel that it's too forced
Okay.
because it would have been too rapid.
Mm.
Like, this is a slow moving series. Develop the
Right.
characters, develop the conflicts, and I'm still waiting to see how it all comes down around Tuesday's mom, as Tuesday is not hiding her face anymore, and she's been on, like, Mars's biggest program. Have you?
Right. Um,
Okay.
um,
Well, with that, suppose we are going to have to wait for the next second wall.
indeed.
So this has been Beardy and the Beast, the second wall. Join us on the next Media Club where we discuss the tale of Princess Kaguya and the next second wall for episodes 10 through 12 of Carole Tuesday, plus the season wrap-up discussion, which will be more in depth than the previous second walls. Check us out here or any services listed on beardyandthebeast.com, and if you have judged us well, show us to your friends.
Later.